Hey, welcome to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective, Highly Sensitive Manifestors series. I am your host, Lindsay Hindle. If this is the first time that we've met, hello. I am a mentor for ambitious, highly sensitive humans, and I help people like you get your feet on the ground, head in your vision, soul on fire, so that you can manifest the abundant impact, income, and happiness that you deserve. And if that is what you're looking for this year, to increase your happiness, to increase the money flowing into your life, to increase the impact that you're making in the world, then this series is for you. I'm going to be on live 7 days in a row, sharing with you one new habit every day that comprise the 7 habits of highly effective, highly sensitive manifestors. So why habits and why are they about internal inner work and how we show up in the world? For those of you who have heard of the 7 habits, this is something that I am sort of taking the Covey habits, right, and shifting them for a highly sensitive perspective, because there's a lot of different ways that we operate in the world than the average person. And so we need a set of guidelines that really help us show up as our full selves. And so that is what the 7 habits do. So today's habit I'm going to talk about is notice. Out of the 7 habits, the first one is notice. Why is it important that we develop a habit of noticing? What is noticing connected to, and how does it help us show up more fully in ourselves to create more happiness, impact, and income in the world and for our lives? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first habit is notice. What is noticing and why is it important? Well, first of all, noticing can come down to basically being higher awareness of your gifts, your intuition, your intuitive hits, your divine inspiration that comes in, and also being aware of what holds you back, discovering what holds you back from fully stepping into those gifts and those intuitive downloads. You're just coming on, say hello, welcome, thanks for joining. So there's a special element to noticing that a lot of people aren't quite aware of. And what's important about noticing, I notice, is that it's free of judgment. Noticing is seeing, right? Seeing, observing, but without that internal story of judging, critiquing, analyzing the information that you are observing. So when I help people as a coach or in some of my group programs to notice, it comes from a place of observance where there's space, and it's just about being with that thing that you're noticing, whether it's a divine inspiration, whether it is an aspect of yourself that you've encountered that you realize is being a block. And it's so important for both, for us to notice and pay attention to these inspired downloads, these inspired ideas that we get. Because what happens if we don't? What happens if we don't notice and even note down inspired ideas, things that keep coming up to be known, like an idea that won't leave you alone? Let me know in the comments if that's you. Do you have an idea, a call to service, or call to share your art, or share your music, or share a business, like be in business for yourself, or step into a different career? It's an inspired idea and it won't leave you alone. Let me know in the comments if you have one of those that keeps coming back. So do you notice it? And do you pay attention? Do you get present with it? Because it's coming up for a reason. And can you be neutral about it so that you can then later on receive it properly? instead of pushing it away. Like the practical mind so often wants to come in and push our inspired ideas away because they don't fit with our life, or like, you're 40 or you're 50. How do you think you can do that? Why would you think you can do that? See that? See that? Do you ever hear that judgment that comes in? Right? So that gets in the way of our noticing, of being with. So I notice is so important for that regard, of being able to fully step into your intuitive or your service, your heart-led gifts. Now, here's the other side of the coin. Can you notice the things that hold you back? Can you notice your fear? Can you notice your self-criticism? Can you notice other things like procrastination, avoidance? Can you notice when you're doing those things? When you're going off of a rabbit hole that's taking you way off track instead of focusing on the big needle-moving action that you need to be taking? Do you notice when you're falling into fear patterns or self-sabotage patterns? Noticing here is so important, what you're bumping into. But again, the importance of noticing, the quality of noticing is free of judgment. Because what do we do when we see that we're hitting a wall, or that we see that we're self-sabotaging, or that we see that we're holding ourselves back? The first response is to go into self-judgment, right? To go into guilting, to go into shaming ourselves for either running the pattern again or just letting ourselves fall into feeling really bad about that being there. But what happens when we can step back with detachment and just notice and take that in as information? Like, oh, well, this is showing up again. It's important. It's important that I look into this. It's important. It's present. I'm present with it. And when we can do that from a place of a little bit of detachment, then we're able to activate our willingness to do something about it. Because let me know in the comments, if you want to be really honest with yourself, how many times have you hit a wall? How many times have you hit that thing that is stopping you, that block? And you know it's there, but that fear, that shame, or that guilt is so heavy that you don't actually address it. You run from it. You avoid addressing it. And in that case, unfortunately, what we don't address is going to keep coming up until it is addressed. And it's going to keep stopping us from stepping fully into our gifts, the work, the meaningful work that we're called to do in the world, the meaningful relationships that we are called to create, the creations and creativity from within our sparking soul that deserve to be in the world, creating beauty, creating change, creating wealth, right? So, habit number 1 in the 7 habits of highly effective, highly sensitive manifestors. I said that wrong. Highly sensitive, highly effective manifestors is I notice. I notice. And right now, I just noticed I did a little bit of self-judgment there, saying like, oh, I said that wrong. Who cares? And when we can do this without the attachment, then we're able to really move the things out of our way, the blocks out of our way, properly address them, and then move into really showing up. So I hope this tip has served you well today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or want to share how much this is resonating with you. And I have something that I want to share with you since we're on the topic of habits. If you have been seeking, or if you have even tried already this year to set yourself up with a morning ritual, right? We all know how important, how powerful, how potent a morning ritual can be to center and ground our energy and our focus and light up our heart and our confidence. And if you have meant to start a morning ritual, but have struggled to get yourself out of bed because you have a habit of hitting the snooze button over and over again, I've got you covered and I have a solution for you. I have a playbook, a wonderful step-by-step, almost like a mini training program called the 7 Secrets to a successful morning ritual that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to drop that link of where you can get your access to that. I'll share that in the comments. And this is one of the ways you can start to cultivate that strong habit of not hitting the snooze, getting up in the morning, creating that sacred time for yourself so that you can deepen into some of this 7 habits work and other work, that inner work that is really important to become a highly effective, highly sensitive manifester. Thanks for joining today, you guys. I'll drop that link to get your access, your free access to the 7 secrets to a successful morning ritual in the comments in just a sec. And see you tomorrow. I'll be doing habit number 2. Bye, guys.